basic human rights.
You're the problem.
The people that were supposed to have our backs and the people that we were supposed to be able to lean on weren't there.
Yep. The way that millennials and Gen Z are looking at the idea of what a family is changing. And while some of it is for good reason, I do think that some of it is a bit drastic. On this channel, we've talked about why millennials have gone no contact with their parents, and then we've reacted to parents whose kids have cut them off. But I think this bleeds into how millennials and Gen Z are looking at what constitutes as family in the first place. As someone who doesn't have a relationship with their father, I mean, obviously I'm Black, so what do you expect? And I'm even like pretty much low contact. No, it's pretty low contact with my mother. I mean, I get it, because even for me, I look at what family is differently too. While I do have a sister that I'm close with and various cousins, I'm realizing that more and more people are redefining and rethinking what constitutes as family and what these bonds mean. Because at the end of the day, you know, we are family in the sense that we're blood related, we have shared experiences growing up, we know all the tea like in the family, like we've been around each other our whole lives. But as we mature and change and grow up and become more independent, do I necessarily have to keep you in my life just because we're family? Especially given when it's so easy to be a part of a community and be surrounded by people who treat you better than your own family to begin with. So in this video, we're gonna go through just that. We're gonna talk about the history of the family structure, my thoughts on how it's evolved, and then get into people's perspective on this topic. So as always, be sure to subscribe if you like this type of content. The history. So when discussing the family dynamic, I think it's important to highlight how families are created and, you know, begin in the first place. Because if we're going to constitute a family as a mom, a dad, and kids, then let's look at how mom and dad are meeting to begin with. So looking at this graph, what we're looking at is how couples have met throughout the past few decades. And this is heterosexual couples, and then on the other side, we have same-sex couples. Looking at straight couples, what we see, I mean, it's pretty much across the board. Between the 1940s and roughly the mid 90s, you met people by your local community, by like local school, church, college, bar, restaurant, through friends. That's how you met people. But then when the internet came along and online, you see online rising and everything else dropping. Same thing for same-sex couples. I mean, really have the data starting at like the mid 80s. It was already starting to decline through your local community, but as soon as online came, it happened even sooner really for gays. It shot up, which makes sense because really, why am I gonna sit here and go out and like talk to a dude and he ends up being straight, or like outing myself and it's really not that safe to, especially in that time period, when I can just go online and find someone immediately who I know is gay. It makes it easier. And that's why this graph is so telling, because it's not even just showing how families are starting to be created, you know, mom and dad are meeting and people are getting together. It's highlighting how down to our communities are changing and how we're meeting people. This is a telltale sign that bleeds right into how the internet has changed how we look at communities. We went from our community being local to our community being online. Simply put, if you're watching this right now, how many of you all know your neighbors? Like if you're not living in like a master plan community in the suburbs, like a cute little small town, most people don't talk to their neighbors, especially like if you're in an apartment complex. You may know the person right next to you, but you don't know your local community. Because of the internet, we're finding our communities online. Whatever your hobbies are, the music you like, the niches that you're involved in, music, like there's so much that goes into it. It is so easy to find that community and immediately click with somebody who you already have a shared interest. It makes it so easy to immediately connect and get to know somebody. And this idea, it relates back to families, because for so long we were taught and told that family is all you got and your local community is all you got, when we know this is actively changing in front of our eyes. This idea that family is all you got, I mean, it is very wholesome and inspiring, and even I wish, you know, I had that for the most part. But for a lot of people, family isn't all that I've got. I got my online community, I got my friends that treat me better than my own blood family. And this concept, this idea, like what's happening there is relatable to a lot of people out there, where they're meeting people online who are treating them better than their own family is to begin with. And I know that to ring true for a lot of people out there. Even today's sponsor, Grammarly, they have not just my back, but yours too, when it comes to representing yourself and your ideas in a very sound and efficient way to your community, whether that be work, school, or just in your everyday life. Grammarly is an AI writing partner that integrates seamlessly to your everyday apps that helps all of us write better and faster. And since it integrates integrates into all of our apps. You don't have to worry about copying and pasting from other AI tools. It saves you so much time because you don't have to worry about the going back and forth between your rewrites and tone adjustments. Whether you're writing an email for your boss or submitting a paper at school, it's beyond easy to make adjustments to make sure that you're writing to the right audience. And the best part about all of this is that Grammarly is free to use and try out. All of the features that I've shown and talked about are free, so you can tap the link below or scan the QR code here on the screen to get involved. I know even for me, I've been using Grammarly for well over a decade now because they've always had my back when it comes to making corrections from my scripts, social media posts, my old papers in college and school and in work and emails to my boss. Literally, they're clutch. So again, tap the link below or scan the QR code here on the screen to get started. What is family? The phrase blood is thicker than water and family's always there for you, it doesn't ring true like it used to. I'm just sorry, it just doesn't. There's a lot of people out there, both in millennials and Gen Z, who are no longer putting up with, you know, family and not keeping people around just because we're related. And as crappy as that sounds, it's just the truth. There are people that I'm not even blood related to that treat me better tenfold than the people I'm blood related to and who is my family is supposed to be there for me forever and ever. There's plenty of people who I'm blood related to that mean absolutely nothing to me. Example being my father. Just because I'm blood related to this man that's out there doesn't mean that he's my family and I'm always going to be there for them. He's always going to be there for me. Hello, he left, still gone. But like, he's no different than just a sperm donor who donated his sperm and then hello created this fabulous human being. Back in the day, sure, family was all you had, but that was when there was no internet and you were trapped in your local community and you only had to, the people you interacted with most were right there. You weren't online talking to your friends or on Discord or Skype or FaceTime. None of the Instagram, Snapchat, that wasn't a thing. So now we are actively seeing times changing. And yeah, I can find my spouse online. I can find my best friend online. I can find all these different people who end up being what a lot of millennials and Gen Z do consider to be family. For those of you that grew up without a family structure and without, you know, close friends and family around you, this is great. This has worked out in your favor, and being able to be a part of these online communities and, you know, meet your spouse online or your best friends through internet, that's been great for you. You can finally find your sense of belonging and feel loved and happy. But for, I think what we're going to find out in this video, there's a lot of people that because of how easy it is to find a local community, it's that easy to trap yourself in it, and that can be a lot of people's downfall, especially when you solely surround yourself with the people who think just like you and keep affirming your own ideas and narratives and motives that you have, and you're like blocking yourself out from what the real world actually is and how they feel. A big example of this being after the election, how many people are cutting off their family and friends just for them merely voting for Trump, which again is even crazier because it's coming from the party of love and acceptance and tolerance, and we're gonna get into that later. But as much of a blessing it is finding people online and being a part of the online communities, it is a lot of people's downfall because it is that easy to surround yourself with people who are just gonna love on you, support you, and pour into you. So yes, this is a good thing that people are able to find these communities online and find their what they call family. But damn, it makes it really easy for people to cut off their actual family just to be around people who are keep affirming them. Like, that's why I think it's so easy for people to cut off their blood family or to cut off their family or friends merely based on the fact that it's so easy to just be replaceable. It kind of, I mean, I'll touch on this in another video, so be sure to subscribe, but it relates to the dating culture, hello, and how there's so many options out there where people aren't willing to just be with somebody that they like at the foundation of who they are and then grow with them together, because people forget that we change, we grow up, we're different, our lived experiences, there's so much that goes on in our human life as we are alive and experiencing things, and we're growing and we're changing. But because of these communities and especially these algorithms that trap you in your own little echo chambers, you get stuck and then you get comfortable only being around the people who are feeding your ego. Because to me, family is just love. Like, we can be family and completely disagree on something, but as long as you're treating me with respect and as long as you're always there for me and I'm there for you, we're good. Families, I'm there for you. Families, like I said, but despite all our differences, I'm still going to pull up and ride for you. I'm still going to support you. I'm still going to promote you. And for the biggest part for me is families respect. If you just respect me and you love me, that's huge. But you can't just listen, you can't just get by with disrespecting me and being rude to me and being nasty to me just because we're family. You don't think I'm not gonna go anywhere. For me, we don't need to be blood related for you to give me that idea of what a family is. So now, with all that being said, now that we have a baseline onto why families are changing, let's dive into some varying perspectives on what family is to some people cutting off their family, toxic family situations, and much more.
Millennials have really become the generation of cutting off family, cutting off parents, cutting off friends. And I'll tell you why. We grew up in a generation where we were told if a person was in authority, if they were above you, if they were an elder, if they were older than you, if they were a parent, if they were a grandparent, if they were a teacher, if they were whoever, you had to respect them because they were your elder and they were in a place of authority. However, most of the people in the generation before us used that authority in all the wrong ways. They used it to control and manipulate us instead of helping us grow and teaching us things that we actually needed to know in the real world. We also grew up in a generation that watched the world change. We watched the internet come. We watched 9/11 happen. We watched wars start. We've been through a lot of shit. And most of us realize now that while we were going through that life-changing, the people that were supposed to have our backs and the people that we were supposed to be able to lean on weren't there.
Yep. They weren't there at all. And I think it's telling how, like she said, we were growing up and this is authority, this is authority, this is authority. And then to grow older personally and look around like, y'all are all wrong. You're lying. You're misleading. It's misinformation. It's like even outside of the news, but just how you're treating people around you, like it's just very shady. It's like I'm supposed to be loving and respecting you and your authority whole time. Like you're not. It's like the more we're growing up, the more we're realizing that we're all human, and that's my biggest gripe. I'm so sorry with certain people that, you know, act holier than thou and like, oh, I'm perfect, I'm this and that. And then behind the sheets, they are crazy. Like this idea of the whole authority thing, that's what really went wrong, because when I was supposed to lean on you, when I was supposed to lean on you for the information, when I was supposed to trust you and you're supposed to guide me through life, there were varying instances from family, friends, and even just like mainstream media and corporations, whatever, that led us astray, led us wrong, and still want to act holier than thou and still want to act like they weren't in the wrong.
People that are saying, oh, all we tried to do was raise you right and all we tried to do was make sure you could be a good functioning adult in the real world. No, all you did was give us trauma and send us on our way. And let me give you a hint. If we're cutting you out of our lives, it's not because of us. It's because we now have kids of our own. And we'll be damned if we let you do the same thing to them. Food for thought.
I mean, truly, be damned. I'm sorry what you're not about to do. Yeah, I've had these conversations of like, will I let certain people, like my kids that I adopt in the future, are they gonna be around that much? And I mean, unless the parents change, then no. Like, you have me damned if I'm gonna put those kids through what I went through with you. It's like a lot of us, the millennials and the Gen Z, we're over the trauma. We are. And it's not to say that y'all, I'm saying y'all, but like the Gen X hasn't gone through things either, but it's like we recognize that life is too short to be dealing with BS. And what I'm not about to sit here and do is put up with someone in my life just because they're family, when again, we live in a new world now. We have access to so many people and so many niches and hobbies where even right now, my spouse met online. Like my best friends have met online. It wasn't in my local community, and it wasn't. And I'm realizing more and more there's a lot of communities that do treat people better than their own families are treating them. And it's something to be said for that. And I'm not talking about the people who are just cutting off family because they disagree with politics. Those people are stupid to me. It's totally wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. But there is something to be said for the years worth of trauma that a lot of people have gone through. It's a mixed bag. Like, yeah, the idea of family and this dynamic is definitely changing. And while it is for a good reason for a lot of people, like I said before, it can be a downfall for a lot of people who are willing to only be around family that thinks like them, friends that think like them, and keep feeding their ego without recognizing that you should be encouraged. You should be inspired to be challenged respectfully. Heavy on the respect. Like, I'm not going to sit here and have a disrespectful debate. I'm not. You start cussing, you're cut off. Not happening. We need to be having a thorough conversation if we do disagree. But yeah, I mean, it just boils down to respect and love. And if you're not giving me that, and we just so happen to be blood related, you aren't entitled to stay around me in my life. Sorry, not sorry.
This video is for anyone who doesn't understand why someone in their life might feel uncomfortable or want to distance themselves or not want to be in your life anymore because of your difference in political views. I just want to give you this example. Imagine you go to a friend of yours and you say to them, this person that I used to be friends with really hurt me, really disrespected me. And your friend agrees with you and they're like, yeah, that was really up. Like, I totally disagree with what they did to you. Like, that's not cool. That's not fair. And then you find your friend liking that person's photo or hanging out with that person. Your friend might not agree with what they did to you. They might recognize that it's fucked up, but it's not a deal breaker. They see the damage that this person has done to you and is continuing to do to you, but it doesn't matter. They're still supporting them because maybe they have a lot of money, or they're really cool, or they have the same hobbies as them. Those things are more important to them than you as their friend.
There's so much context that example's a bad example. There's so much more that goes into that because it depends on what the friend did. Did they kill somebody? No. Did they do something effed up, but then they went through therapy and they're learning about it? Like, are they redeeming themselves?
Do you see what I'm saying? It's one thing to disagree with someone on policy, but when it comes to human rights, basic human rights, that's a whole nother story. You might not be racist, but if the politician that you're supporting is, it's not a deal breaker for you. You might not be homophobic.
Here we go. She needs to be watching my other video. She really do. The fact that this election and so many people were cut off because it's like, it's not even about disagreeing. It's about human rights. Okay, if it's about human rights, why are so many of the humans that you're so like gung-ho about speaking for support him? You say it's for human rights, and why are so many record women voting for Trump? You say you talk about homophobia and racism, why are there so many blacks and gays voting for him? It's clearly not that black and white. There's clearly more nuance and more conversation to be had about why so many people were supporting Trump to begin with. So instead of cutting someone off because they voted for Trump, or because you think personally that it was against a human right, if it really was against a human right, it's like, why are so many humans supporting him? And it's not because they're brainwashed, especially when you want to hip and holler about the popular vote and the man won the popular vote. There's more to the story.
But if the politician you're supporting it's not a deal breaker for you. You might not hate women, but if the politician you're supporting does, it's not a deal breaker for you. The people in your life want to feel loved by you, respected by you, safe around you. And if you're supporting someone who makes them feel the opposite, that's going to make them feel that way about you.
I understand that they're going to make them feel that way about me, but what that person, the other people aren't understanding is it's the left. It's that party. It's those kind of people that are like, you need to listen to black voices. You need to listen to queer voices. You need to listen to women. I'm doing that. There's blacks that love Trump, gays that love Trump, women that love Trump. So you're telling me to listen to these people. Oh, but then you tell me they're the wrong people because they're also the people who have to think like what you're trying to say. And that's where the argument and everything just crumbles apart. It doesn't make sense. You can't just label everybody who voted for Trump as a racist, as a homophobic, as a misogynistic, as the list goes on, when all those groups voted for the man to begin with. Instead of just, shivery timbers, you voted for Trump, I'm cutting you off. Look into why. We talked about this in my past video. Like, look into why someone voted for Trump and look into why other people of those same groups that you're listing off, the gays, the blacks, the women's, whatever, why aren't they? Why are there some of those people that aren't afraid of Trump? Look into that. But to sit here and cut people off because politics, yes, it is immature. Things are forever changing. And it's so funny to me because these people are talking about human rights, human rights. Why is your party fighting for the right to transition minors? What about that is a human right when you have detransitioners screaming from the rooftops to stop letting this happen? And y'all keep talking about, I'm getting heated. Listen, y'all keep talking about this not happening. Y'all keep talking about it's rare cases, it's this and that, and oh my gosh, trans this, trans that. Shut it down. Shut it down. There's no reason that y'all are the same party, and I agree it's all wrong, but just for the sake of this argument, it's so crazy to me that this is the same party that says, yes, a 17-year-old shouldn't be having sex with a person, but you're also saying a 12-year-old can change their sex for life. Where is the logic? It's not adding up. It's all wrong. And you're so jaded and so blinded and stuck in your echo chamber and your bubble of wanting to protect the trans people, the gay people, the black people, whatever it may be, that you're actively ignoring the people who are speaking up. How are you letting yourself do that? How are you able to just put a giant blanket statement on somebody when it's the same people you're trying to defend supporting the damn man? Look into it and see why.
No, because if you are willing to cut off family, friends, anybody in your own personal life whose views don't perfectly align with yours, you're the problem right now.
Thank you. You literally are the problem, and it's conflated. That's why I put all this in one video together. It's one thing to cut off your family for family issues, for years of trauma, for years of abuse. I get it. We're getting into that too. But using an election and politics as a cop-out to cut off your family, no, ma'am. That says more about you as a person.
You're the problem right now, and I guarantee that kind of behavior will cause more of a divide in your own life than this election ever will.
Yep.
Okay? It's your true colors are showing. I opened up Facebook this morning to so many posts saying, if you voted for this person, I don't care who you are, go ahead and unfriend me. I'm gonna let the trash take itself out. Okay, girl. I do not care who you voted for, but I do care how you're treating people who voted differently than you.
And you talk about it's a democracy and Oprah on stage talking about, this is the last election you can ever vote in. But how are you vilifying somebody for exercising their free right that you fight for the right to vote? To sit here and say you're for democracy, freedom, and fair elections, then what? It's an election. You have options and people are electing. Why are you mad and vilifying the people who are electing the people that you don't want to be elected? Yeah, I'd be salty if Kamala won right now, but like, I'm not going to sit here and cut off my whole family and friends because of it. And it's funny because there's majority of the people on the left that are cutting off their friends who voted for Trump. Make that make sense. Party of love, inclusivity, positivity, equality, all the good vibes. Make it make sense. It's not happening.
And that's what it really boils down to. I have close friends in my life who I know voted differently than me. And I'm not unfriending anybody because of the way they voted. But I will be unfriending anybody who is like openly bashing and blocking their own grandma on the Facebook comments. Because that is telling me all I need to know about you as a person.
All I need to know about you as a person. In my next video, I didn't want... I'll make it because I know it's going to be useful for so many people. But I'm making a video talking about like if you got canceled by your friends for voting for Trump. Ooh, almost dropped over my water. If you got canceled for voting for Trump, and I'm going to put that video. It's just an emotional one. It's just draining because it's like I've lost so many friends and family just for voting for Trump. Oh my gosh. It bothers me. I say it doesn't, but it low-key does because it's just like, how are you cutting off people just because of politics? It blows my mind, G. When I was on the left going to the right, it was the people on the right who were so open to hearing me out and so open to have conversations with me. But the people on the left, they don't want to do that. Why? Makes no sense to me. So be sure to subscribe. I'm going to drop that video. It's going to be talking about, you know, how to lift your spirits if you did get canceled by some friends or family for voting for Trump. I hear you. There's a lot of us out there, and it's just a little, like, you know, to just show you that, you know, you're not the only one going through that, and to keep your heads up because it's so much better. It's so much more worth going to bed with a smile on your face, knowing you stand up firm in your beliefs and you can back them up and you know why, and you are acting out of respect and love and you're open-minded because you can stand in your beliefs but be open-minded to them being changed with other facts and receipts. Totally fine and respectable.
Unfortunately, family are the ones that get the most comfortable with disrespecting you and harming you because they figure, well, she's not going to go anywhere. She's not going to do anything about it. But eventually, once you cut them off, then they see, like, I couldn't just continue to do that to her.
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that are dealing with family members who, oh, well, they're never going to go anywhere, so it's fine. We're family. Oh, it goes back. You got, y'all, if you haven't seen my other videos, you have to go watch them. Why millennials are cutting off parents and then reacting to the parents who millennials have cut them off. Juicy. But it goes back to the old statement of like, well, it's your mom. Well, it's your dad. Who? Where is he? He's been gone. He's nothing more than a sperm donor. I'm sorry, there's a difference between having a dad and having a father. There's a difference between having a mom and having a mother. These titles matter, and you're not going to sit here and reduce this damn sperm donor that's out here on the streets and try to relate to him or try to call him, well, he's your dad, that's your father. No, he's not. Listen, you got the wrong one. That's just not how it works. And this extends out into the years of abuse that people are dealing with from their family members or just toxicity. I don't need... It's so convoluted. After years and years of going through stuff, there's no need for me to keep you around just because we're blood related, especially if there is no respect. I am all down for keeping this idea if the family's changing. We're seeing that the ideas of family and how communities is forever changing with the internet. But I'm totally down for family, like blood related, and people being around and supporting people who've seen you grow up and you've seen them grow up, even if you disagree on certain things. But as long as you're always respectful, you're always gonna be family to me. That's just the tea. Like I have, you know, one of my best friends, she is like a sister to me. We grew up together. There's pictures of us when we were like 2 months old together. That is like my sister. We don't talk every day, we don't talk every week, but I am definitely doing what I can to help support her, and I'm always going to be there for her, and that's family to me. We may not agree on every topic, but we've supported each other. We've gone through so much, so many childhood memories. It's like, that is family. And just because we are blood related doesn't mean I need to keep you around, and that makes you family. Because what that woman's saying, it's so true. It's
Family,
so
it's a
true.
really tricky subject. I haven't healed all the way yet from the things that my family have done to me, and they've done some pretty unforgivable things.
And another part that frustrates me about all this is how many people like that woman, like me, like some of my closest and dearest friends who have either lost a parent, or parent has abandoned them, or parent has been so toxic to them for years that they're dealing with all these family struggles and they're going through all this emotional healing and trauma, and you have all these people dealing with that, and then up walks in somebody who's cutting off their family because of political views. We are not the same. I'm sorry. We're not. And I hope this video is laying clear the difference in don't put me in that same basket. Are there family members I don't talk to? Yeah. Do I not talk to my sperm donor? Yeah. But you're not going to equate that to homegirl liberal that's cutting off her family just because they voted for Trump. That's derangement, and that shouldn't be done. But I will agree, and I keep saying it, family's changing. The idea of family, the idea of the communities, it's all changing.
I just saw a creator posted a video talking about the fact that when people go no contact with their family members, specifically they were talking about parents, it's not because of something that happened to them when they were 11, it's because of repeated continues of patterns of behavior from their parents. And that resonated with me really hard because I had an abusive childhood and I'm no contact with a lot of my family. And a lot of them walk around and make it seem like I'm just bitter and miserable for things that happened in my childhood that happened 20, 30 years ago. And that couldn't be any further from the case.
And that rings so true to me because, like I was just mentioning, there's so many people that cut off their family because of one thing that happened. One election, one this, one that. When it's people like me, my friends, homegirl right here, who's been going through things for years, G. And that's why things are changing. You know, they're cutting people off. That's why people are cutting off their family. I'm sorry.
Yes, those things happen. They had lasting impacts on me, and I was mad about them for quite some time. I'm not gonna lie about that. But I spoke to most of my family well into my 20s, so it was not something that was happening to me when I was 15. Rather, every single body that I cut off, I cut them off because I had a eureka moment after an active engagement with them. Like, when I say that, I mean like I'm actively engaging in conflict or conflict resolution with them, and I had a eureka moment where I realized this person is never going to change.
Yep. And that applies to family, that applies to friends. There are moments when you just talking to somebody and they're talking to you and you just check out. You're just like, oh shit. This is never gonna change. I had that eureka moment with my father, with my sperm donor, my dad. I've seen that man maybe 5 times since 2015, maybe 5 times. And there was a moment in 2017, he was in a car with me and we were driving to the liquor store, which so annoying. And I'm sitting here, we're chatting, and I'm like, damn, these really checked out. Like, this is this use. He's like an empty void of a human being. It was so crazy to me, but I know the exact feeling that she's talking about.
Nothing is ever going to be different with this person. Who they were when I was 11 years old and who they are now is the same person. And while they cannot...
The same person. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. They're literally the same person. That is literally my father. That when I mean, shit, he's the same person from when he left the family when I was like 4 or 5. He's identical. He's the same person. And I had that moment when I was in my car, in my name, driving this grown man around with no car, no home, no money, freeloading off of everybody. I'm sitting here like, this is my dad. I'm supposed to be looking up to my dad. He's supposed to be around. He's supposed to be like such a good manly figure. And I've lived more life than him. And what was like 19? I think I'm 19 at the time, 19. Crazy, but yes, they are the same person. That man is a grown child. He's the same person who I was as a kid. And There's nothing gonna change with that.
Handle me the same way because I'm no longer a child. If I'm going to have a relationship with this person, I have to be willing to subject myself to constant disrespect.
She's spitting. I'm so happy. I love this. It's unfortunate, but she's spitting so many facts, and I just feel like so related to right now because for so long I was told, Amir, but that's your dad. You have to have a relationship with him. You should talk to him. You should hear him out. Why? Literally, why? Because we're blood? That doesn't cut it anymore. And like she said, I'm gonna have to willingly subject myself to constant disrespect and disappointment for what? Literally for what? Especially when I'm a grown adult taking care of my own business, I am way happier and in control of all the boundaries that I put up around my life with certain family members this way and that way. Because you have to do that. You have to protect your peace. You have to look out for yourself because relying on this idea, again, that family's family is why there is so many people struggling with their families to this day. And again, I'm not talking about the little crappy political issues and oh, they voted for Trump, this is that. No, I'm talking about people who have the crappiest parents, the crappiest parents, but they keep them around because they're family. That's not family. You should not be being treated that way. If it's years and years and years of abuse and you're the only party trying to reconcile and change something, or they are trying to change something too and they aren't changing, that doesn't cut it. That's disrespectful. You don't deserve to keep them in your life just because they're family.
And being manhandled. And I decided that I didn't want a relationship with them that bad. It makes them feel better to tell themselves it's because I'm bitter and I'm holding on to the past. But they are the same exact person when I was 11 years old that they are today. They have not changed. They're not going to change. And that was the realization that I had to come to. It's not what happened to me at 15. It's what happened to me at 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. For all the years
Come on
that I'm
now.
in contact with you, I keep having the same experience.
The same experience. Every single year, same thing going on, rinse and repeat, time and time again. And there's so many people that are subjecting themselves to this right now. Probably if you were watching this right now, constantly keep around these people just because they family whole time. They're aiding to your toxicity in your life. Do you not realize that your thoughts control more than you realize? Do you not realize that your emotions, your stress levels play a direct link into how your body is responding? You can think about something and change something in your body. The best example for this, you can have a little a little thought and a physical reaction happens. So that is a perfect example of a thought, something you're thinking about going through your body and making a physical reaction. So all these negative thoughts you're having is creating stress. It's creating inflammation, which leads to chronic inflammation, which can lead to chronic stress, headaches, migraines, body aches, diseases. Like it literally, getting rid of toxic people in your life will change your entire life for the better. I'm not advocating for cutting someone off just because they think differently from you. I have plenty of family members who think differently from me, but we respect each other. What I'm advocating for is you to take care of yourself and your well-being and stop putting up with toxic behaviors and BS and not working through something or settling for less or constantly being disrespected just because they're family. It is so disheartening. It's so sad to look around me and see it happen time and time again everywhere. No, we need to be having these tough conversations. We need to be bringing this up. We need to be protecting our peace. And it's a prime example of why throughout this video, why millennials and Gen Z are so quick to cut somebody off. So quick to cut somebody off because they don't have time to deal with it. Because guess what? They don't have to. They live in a world where I can go find my community. I can easily be around somebody who's going to love me for me and respect me. Not necessarily agree with me 100%, but respect me. When back in the day, them Gen X's and them boomers, no, y'all was stuck in your community or you was driving across the country for the people that could afford to do that. But for a lot of people, they were in their local community and that's who you had to deal with. That's it. But we live in a new day and age where you can have somebody living in an apartment or living in a house and they can be there all day and be having all these conversations and talking to people and connecting, flying out, meeting up with friends, this, that, and the other, making an income. It's a new world. So enough of putting up with the BS, enough of settling for less. You deserve more of that, and you know that.
And it was my own mother who taught me that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different response. At some point, it is insane to continue engaging with these people and expect anything different from them.
I hope that really laid the foundation for y'all to really understand, and why, at least why I personally feel that it's so easy for someone to cut off family to begin with, and it relates back to communities and how they've changed. This idea and this attitude of family's always there for you, we know that to not be true for everybody, and family's all you got, we know not to be true for everybody, because I could go online and find family that's gonna treat me better than you treat me right now. That's the tea. That's the reality of the situation. But I truly feel like that's the main reason why millennials and Gen Z are looking at the family dynamic differently, and it's so easy to cut off family, you know, go no contact with their parents because of online and the communities. I genuinely do appreciate the love and respect that you all have for this channel. It's growing at a rapid rate. I'm so thankful for the support. I'm so thankful for the love, and it is just so much fun to dive into these topics and hear these perspectives and just my mind being blown in real time of like how many, there's so many people that I like low-key connect with. We're on the same wavelength, the same page, and I know for a lot of people out there watching this video, you do too. And with that being said, for those watching this right now, you're still here kicking around. One, thank you for the support, but two, you're not alone. Like, I know I've gotten so many messages of people who family or friends have cut them out for voting for Trump. You're not alone. There's so many more people out there who are dealing with the same thing you're dealing with. I know so many people who gone no contact with their parents, or they're starting to go non-contact, or they're going low contact, and it's hard. It's not easy. It's really not. But I make this content and I show these different perspectives and I really highlight these different things and I talk about it to just, I don't know, I was just so alone my whole life. And I was just like, I want people to realize that you're not. Like, that's what I've learned through these online communities, and it's a big reason for me, especially growing up off the rip. I knew that this idea of what family thought, it varies for people. It really does. And that relates back to that video that I did, I think in my last video, why you shouldn't fear a Trump presidency. I did have a critique in there talking about, you know, how Trump is pushing for the nuclear family and reestablishing mother and father and the kids. Homeboy, you got like 3-4 baby mamas. There's so many people who have a mother and a father at home, but no mom or no dad. That's the truth of the matter. There's so many dynamic families out there, and we need to be focusing and highlighting that and bringing more of this discussion to the table and fixing and repairing this generational trauma that is going on, because there are a lot of people that are repeating the footsteps of their parents and just passing it on to their children. And, you know, just because you have a mom and dad at home and 2 kids doesn't mean you're perfect, and doesn't mean that everything's okay. Does the data show that the kids turn out, I guess, more all right and not in crimes? Yeah. But damn, when I'm looking around me, especially when I'm 29, everybody's dealing with trauma. Everybody's broken. Like, it's just real. It's just what it is. So thank you so much for sharing this. It means the world to me. And like I mentioned before, do know that you control more of your thoughts and your mind than you realize. Surround yourself with positivity. Surround yourself with good vibes. Not in echo chambers. Be willing to be challenged. Be willing to push back and, you know, defend your ideas. But there's power in your thoughts and your mind. So with that being said, I love you guys a ton, and I will see you. Oh, hold up. What am I doing? Shout out to the Patreon members. Y'all are clutch. We be in a Discord playing games all the time. If you play Fortnite, let's play. Join my Patreon. We'll be in my Discord. We can play Fortnite. I'll probably do, I want to do like a live like Fortnite play. I do stream on my Discord. I've been playing Fortnite a lot more with them. So if you do play Fortnite, that's my jam. I play like almost every night. So let's hop on that. Thank you for the Discord. Thank you for the members. The Christmas card's coming out soon. My photo shoots, I don't know. Yeah, this video is being posted next week. So I've already had my photo shoot. Cards have been ordered. Signing them, getting them out the door so you can have them in December. So yeah, with that being said, love you guys a ton, and I will see you in the next video. Deuces.